Hi there. Welcome to Lake of the Pines. I'm CJ Jenkins from Century 21 Cornerstone. We have an interesting property for you today because it is a lot. It is the only lot left on the lake to build upon, which is very unusual. We have 175 lakefronts at Lake of the Pines, and this is the one and only lot to build upon. We are at Woodhaven Road, and Woodhaven Road is a little islet to Woodhaven Place. Woodhaven Place is the most expensive street at Lake of the Pines. And the reason why it's the most expensive street is because of the fact that we have water on both sides of the street. So we have lakefronts on both sides of Woodhaven, homes on Woodhaven Place. Now, this road here, Woodhaven Road, is the site of the only lot to build upon at the lake. Our address is 12297 12279 Woodhaven Road. So here's our property line, and it goes down the hill. Notice the beautiful fluorescent orange duct tape just added for you today. We're going to go down the hill, and then we're going to see the level lot where you would have your build for your home. We also have our water location here, our water hookup. And we have sewer and electric on the street right here. So this is where you would put your driveway. We're going to make our walk down to the water. Because we have a hillside here, one of the things that you would be doing with this natural hill is you would be building a retaining wall and putting in your driveway. The neighbors are putting in a path from their front driveway down around their property to the lake. Now your build has to be at least 30 feet off from the center of the road, so we wouldn't have any problem with that here. The smallest house that you can build at Lake of the Pines is 1,200 square feet, which would be way too small. There's no limit how large the home can be. It has to do with how it fits on the lot. And the height level of homes, there are two different numbers for how high a home can be off the ground. And I'm going to check my notes here. It's 29 feet or 35 feet, depending upon how the topography works. So that, of course, is for homes that are not single story, but have 2 floors to them. So our property line goes to where that dirt is dug up right here. We come down from the hillside, past the large oak, down to that point, and then all the way to this point right here is part of the property. So if you were to put a garage in, you could possibly put a garage here, but you most likely will put your garage against the retaining wall space where we have some natural rock outcroppings right now. Because you want to, of course, have your home closer to the lake. So we're going to walk the property line. So the top corner where you see the blackberries, just a pinch into those blackberries is the property line on this corner. We did have this professionally surveyed by Nevada City Engineering about 14 months ago. So we see a natural culvert here. Well, actually, there is a pipe here that's part of the drainage from up above, and it goes through this area right here. And then we expand over to the other side of the drainage. And here's our property marker here. It's fallen down. I'll need to get my hammer and do some hammering. So don't let this little drainage area here make you think that the property ends on that side of the drainage area. It actually ends right here. And you can see where that tree is and the peg right there also. And it goes down to the sandy beach. So Leanne, I'm going to ask you to come over and follow me. Be careful. There we go. And this natural area here of runoff would be a perfect spot for you.
Hi there.
Hi. Fine, thanks.
How we are.
Hi, we're finally back filming at Woodhaven Road, the lot that is ready for a home to be built on the lake at Lake of the Pines. This is the bottom part of our property line. It's a straight line going up past the tree to that corner up there. You can see that the neighbors are putting in a pathway right now and a patio. So we're going to move out over here on their dock to be able to look at this property. By the way, we have 7 different kinds of fish in our lake. We have catfish, we have trout, we have bass, we have sunfish, we have bluegill. And that's all I remember, but there's a few more. So let's go over here so we can see the property from the water. This sandy beach right here to this sandy beach is the lake frontage of the property, and it goes back a little bit further. We're in the process of hiring someone to take out the cattails and cut down some of the vegetation. So it'll be a lot easier for you to imagine your dock set up here. Now we have 4 different kinds of shapes of docks that are allowed. They're usually fixed docks. They're not floating docks. The older homes have floating docks, but today's times we want some nice stable docks. And they come in the shape of an I, or a T, or an L, or a U. And those are the different shapes of the docks. Now this is an absolutely beautiful cove. And if you were building your home with all your windows looking out onto the water here, you would be in excellent sun position for the afternoon sun, because the afternoon sun will be in the front part of your home and it would not be blasting into your window in the afternoon when you most likely are going to do your entertaining. So it's very hard to kind of imagine the beachfront right now, but it averages to be 70 feet of beachfront. An average amount of lake frontage at Lake of the Pines for homes is about 35 feet. So once this gets cleared out here, from this point to that point, my engineer calculated it to be 70 feet of lake frontage. Just a lovely, lovely cove. Imagine falling asleep here on your flotation device and you wouldn't be hit by any of the water skiers. This is a 5-mile-an-hour cove. It's a well-loved cove for people to come and drop their anchor sometimes if they want to have lunch out here on their pontoon boat. And then just past this boat right here, this dock, you can see the main lake. Now these folks next door have a little visitor. He's that plastic coyote there. And we're all experimenting with different ways to keep the Canadian geese off of our property. The Canadian geese are very lovely creatures. They're supposed to migrate, but when they came to Lake of the Pines, they went, why should we go anywhere else? We love it here at Lake of the Pines. And so they stopped migrating. So one of the techniques to do it in a peaceful fashion is to put a creature there that would have them alarmed. And this is a fake coyote with a bushy tail. And then another item over here, Leanne, on this dock. This is a U-shaped dock right here where the Malibu boat is. And they have swans that they put out in the water. And swans are very territorial birds, and the geese know that. And the swans will keep the geese from coming and pooping on your dock and pooping on your sandy beach. So when you build, your house needs to be 50 feet away from the water. And you can see that from all of the homes here, that we have at least 50 feet away from the shoreline to where the homes are. So I can't wait to show you this spot when we get our bobcat in here and we clear the space for you to see how you can imagine behind the cattails where you would be building. So let's come on over and look at the other side, Leanne. Well, lakefronts at Lake of the Pines are just going like hotcakes. They are selling for about $425 to $500 a square foot. And homes that sell higher in price are those on level lots. Now we will have a build here of a down driveway, but once you get down here, you are going to have a level lot for your build and a very nice level entry into the water. And that is going to be a premium at the lake. You can always change the house, but you can't change the land and the topography. But the cool thing about this lot for the next owner is that you're going to have a brand new house. You're not going to have to fix the HVAC. You're not going to have to replace the roof. You hopefully can put in some solar and super energy efficient windows. I mean, all of these things are going to be of a great value. So we're going to cross over here and hope that we don't lose you. We're still on? Okay. So here's our property corner on the other side. So if we were to draw a line from here to the other line where we were just standing, it would be 70 feet. And I would imagine that it would be a great idea, being that there would be a walkway here. I would consider possibly this tree maybe not being here as one is building and it to increase your view. But that would all have to be verified by the ECC. Now, what is the ECC at Lake of the Pines? The ECC is the Environmental Control Committee. Anything we do to the outside of our home, whether we're painting it or we're putting in a walkway, like the neighbors next door have already got their ECC approval for those plans, putting in a new dock, and of course building a house. That would all go through the Environmental Control Committee, which is the ECC. They do have some great guidelines for people to look up, and if you do want to get those guidelines from me, call CJ 530-906-4715, and I'd be very happy to send you those documents before you even come and check out the lot if you'd like to. And of course the ECC has to work in collaboration with what is approved for building in Nevada County. So there would be Nevada County plans and ECC plans that could coexist and work together when there is a new build. So as far as sand here, the natural topography here doesn't have sand. And what we do is we bring in sand for our beaches, but the association doesn't want us to bring in too much because they don't want the lake to get all, if everybody put their old sand into the lake, we'd have a much shallower lake. Now our water is checked out, by the way. Every month it is tested to make sure that our water is clear and clean and safe for people to swim in it. This morning I swam from my house, which happens to be on Woodhaven, and I swam to the main beach and back, and it was only me and one water skier way far away, and I swam in the 5-mile-an-hour zone with a little buoy behind me so people could see me, and it's just lovely swimming water. It's really, really nice. So we do check to see if our water is safe on a regular basis. Now, we do not have water missing from our lake. We're not a reservoir. We are a lake that always has the right amount of water at our shorelines. And we buy water from NID, Nevada Irrigation District. So if we have lost water from maybe evaporation, then the committee would add that in. It's all planned. We have a spillway for when we do have heavy rains, and that spillway monitors the level of the lake by letting water out when it needs to be. Now there is one time when the lake is lower, and that is 3 weeks around the end of October, early November. For 3 weeks we let out the water in the lake so everybody who lives on the lake can come and service their docks, their water walls, and that would be a great time to bring in a new dock, which would be October, November, and bring it in and get it set up in the bottom of the lake there because it would be much shallower. So let's go out to this point right here. And it's kind of hard to see, but from here to where the reeds are on the other side would be the property line, right kind of by where that inner tube is that you can see. So there will be room to put a dock in this space. This dock right here belongs to 2 houses over, and the home next door to us, this nice looking gray home, does not have a dock. They have a smaller wedge of the lake. And many of these homes, people have come in and bought them. They were built in the 80s. Some of them were built in the 70s. And we've all just over and over again done upgrades to our older homes. My home was built 34 years ago. I've lived there for 20 years, and I've done 12 remodels. And it's just what you do for the joy of living in Lake of the Pines. We do have older homes. One of the things is that you cannot build another Lake of the Pines today. Now, you say, well, what do you mean? Well, the point is, we're not making any more lakefront anymore. There are no more lakes of this particular size that are privately owned in California as of today. We are grandfathered in, and so if there was this much water today, it would need to be public. It would not be a private association. So Lake of the Pines has a total of 2,000 lots. We have golf course homes, lakefront homes, homes that back up to Dark Horse Golf Course, and we have homes that back up to other homes. And one of the nice things about the lake is that your home will back up to the lake. Now, because we are lakefront lots, most of our lots are usually longer and maybe a bit narrower, and you will know your neighbors next door. It's just part of living on the lake, and that's part of the vacation kind of mentality that we have here. We say vacation where you live at Lake of the Pines. So let's go on up and look at the building site. So I'm just guessing, but right here, if this were 50 feet back from the lake, I'm not sure, or maybe it's where this tree is. This area right here would be your building space. And it's kind of like one of those things that stagers say, that empty bedrooms look really small, and people are surprised that if you put a bed in a bedroom, it actually looks bigger. This is the same with this empty lot. The lot is much bigger. We are 0.47 of an acre, almost half an acre, 0.47 of an acre at Lake of the Pines at 12279 Woodhaven Road. We are priced at $525,000, and if we do the math with the price of what lakefronts are selling for right now, you can still cover the cost of developing the infrastructure, which would be your driveway, your retaining wall, your hookups, your drainage, and then you'd have room to build your home, new home. You'd have room for a 2-car garage with no problem, and a golf cart garage. And then you could do a nice single story here of 2,000 square feet, I'm just guessing. And then, or a 2-story home, because you've got the hill above you right there. You could put a 2nd story, and you would have the view straight down of the lake. By the way, NID has just shut the water off for repairs on Woodhaven Road. So we have some water flowing right here. You can see that the water is coming from the other side of the road through the culvert. So we're going to look out at this space again. If I were going to be planning a structure here, have my garages closer to the road, and then from about this space on to over quite a ways, this could be your building site. You could have your porch out here in the dry area, and then you'd have a gorgeous view of the cove at Lake of the Pines. Now, as far as plantings between you and your neighbor, there's lots of ways that we do build some privacy with some bushes. You could place your windows so you don't look into the neighbor's windows on this side and be socially conscious in your design. Or we could have a car garage right here and a 2-car garage over here, and then the entryway into the home right here. Now, of course, you're going to make sure that the important rooms are facing this view. And I call the important rooms when you enter a house and you look straight through the house and see the lake. That is a lakefront home. That has value. To have a nice hallway that goes through the great room and pops out with views of the lake. The other views should be the master bedroom views. So when the person who paid for the building of this house wakes up, and they get to look at the lake every morning when they wake up. So having the master look out to the lake. So you've got your great room, your kitchen, and your entryway, and your master all looking at the lake. Now, if you do a 2-story, those bedrooms upstairs for your guests could be looking out at the lake also. This lot would handle a 2-story structure very easily. But look how quiet it is, minus the workman next door. And having these trees over here, Leanne, are nice too between the neighbor. Having that vegetation gives you some privacy, which is nice. Let's walk up and look at the street. Well, my phone works. Got 3 phone calls in the last half hour. So see these natural rocks here? I think they're quite pretty. They could be cleaned up, and some of these boulders could be moved on the hillside, and you could have a very natural looking retaining wall. Now we are less than a mile away from the clubhouse, the tennis courts, the bocce ball courts, the sports lounge, the main beach, the swimming pool, and the pro shop. So we're less than a mile away from this location to where a lot of social things happen at Lake of the Pines. Because we're a gated community, gosh, there's so many things to do. A lot of the people here, well, half of the people at Lake of the Pines are retired. The other half are working families. It used to be a retirement community in the late 60s and early 70s, but now we're